Welcome to Chisholm Trail 61. Today we're out on the patio and we're going to do a video for you. We'll start here, we'll move inside to finish it. But it's a video that I've been requested several times to do, and we're going to finally get around to it today. We're going to do watermelon jelly, and I'm going to show you how to do that coming up right now. Okay, now you know why we want to do it outside. We're going to cut this watermelon. I was over in South Carolina the other day, and guy was set up on the side of the road selling watermelons, and he had this great big old thing here, and honest to goodness, it is a huge watermelon. This thing probably weighs 40 or 50 pounds. So we're not going to use the whole thing, but what we're going to do, we're going to cut the end off of it here. You can see that's a red watermelon, and then we're going to just try to cut it about right here, right about in the middle. And boy, she juicy. Juices coming out of it. I'm going to spin it around here. Try to cut it this way some. We're going to try to get it to connect and cut it all the way through. At least close to each other if we can. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm just going to set this over here out of the way. And this one I cut this in like I did, cut the end off of it first. Real easy way to cut watermelon in. You can just come right down it like this. And just pull it out. What we want to do, we're going to take this bowl and we're just going to cut this in chunks off into this bowl. And we don't want to get the rind, the white part. We want to just get the meat part. Chickens can have the rinds there. We can make watermelon rind preserves. But I'm probably just going to feed them to the chickens this time. Boy, that is a juicy melon. What we're going to need to get out of this, we're going to need to get 3 cups of juice. 3 cups of watermelon juice will make 6 half pints of watermelon jelly. And that's sort of what we're shooting for. We're going to eat the rest of the watermelon. Just eat it like normal. I'll stack it up over there. I'm going to steal me a little taste of that. But that's a good sweet melon there. That joker is sweet. Man. But see how much easier it is to cut that melon whenever you have it like that? It just makes the job so much easier than trying to fight with it and cut it all up. The whole thing. Now all we want to do, we're just going to let this juice itself, which it'll do. It'll juice itself. Sitting there. We may get more than 3 cups out of there as juicy as this thing is. But if we do, we'll use it too. We'll just use whatever we get. Cut that in a little deep. I'm going to cut that corner off of it there. So I don't want that in my jelly. That rind in your jelly just ain't what you want. That rind ain't going to be sweet in your jelly. We want our jelly to be good and sweet. You want a good sharp knife whenever you're cutting your melon. Uh-oh, that piece is going to have to go to the chicken. All right, so what we're going to do, we're just going to take some saran wrap, and we're just going to, any type of cling wrap. We're just going to cover it up. And I never have any luck with this stuff. We're just going to cover it up. And then we're going to put it in the refrigerator. We're going to leave it in the refrigerator overnight. And then tomorrow about, I don't know, about this time tomorrow, we'll take it out and we'll just get the juice off of it. Now, we're going to put this in the refrigerator, and what'll be tomorrow for us will be just a few seconds for y'all. But when we take this out of the refrigerator tomorrow, we'll bring it back. And we're going to slice the other half of that melon, and we're going to eat it during that time. So we'll see y'all when we get that juice out of this here. And if we don't quite get 3 cups, then I'll show you how we can make it 3 cups anyway. Appreciate it. We'll be back. Okay, remember that I told y'all that it would be a day or so before we got back. Well, it's actually been 2 or 3 days for us, even though it's only been a second for y'all. But I decided instead of 3 cups, I'm going to go ahead and do 6 cups of juice in my watermelon jelly, because I have plenty of watermelon here. And I had said, I'd show you how to get the rest of it out if you didn't get enough by just letting it sit in the refrigerator like this. And so that's what I'm doing now. I've got a potato masher here and a fine mesh strainer. And what I'm doing, I'm just taking a chunk of watermelon and just slice it real thin. You don't even have to take seeds out of it. And then just cut it off in little pieces into your strainer like I'm doing here. And then all you got to do is just take your potato masher and you sort of mash it around and force that juice to go out into the bowl under it. And you're straining it so you're not getting seeds and things in it. And just mash it around, get your juice out of it. And then dump your stuff in the garbage. And so we're going to get another piece here. We don't need about a half a cup, that's all we need. So I'm just going to cut this, and then I'm going to cut her this away. Just make me a few cuts in there, just so you know it's not so big that I can't mash it easy is what I'm doing. Because I want to be able to mash it with my potato masher. Sort of easy there, so I cut it. And if you want to, you can actually, once you get it in your strainer, you can just go in and chop it like this to make it even smaller and easier to mash with your potato masher. But then just take your potato masher, mash it down in the strainer. And now, watermelon jelly is probably one of the harder jellies that there is to gel. So, but if you follow the instructions step by step and use precise measurements, that's key. Since watermelon is probably 99% water, that's why it's so hard to get to gel. But if you use precise measurements, don't add a little here and a little there, or take away a little here and a little there. Because if you go to starting that, you'll never get it to gel on you. Your measurements have got to be pretty precise for it to gel. And so that's if you use the measurements I'm going to give you and the steps I'm going to give you, then you won't have any problem with your watermelon juice gelling for you. And then we're just going to pour this into our measuring cup here. And like I said, that's right on 2 cups. So I got 2 cups here and I got 4 there. So I got 6 cups of juice there. And what we do, we'll bring you right back here in just a second and we'll show you the next step. I'm just going to move this stuff out of my way. I'm going to go ahead and give you the ingredients that we're going to need today. And then we'll move over to the stove and put it in, and I'll show you the steps. First thing we're going to use is 6 cups of strained plain pure watermelon juice. We got 3 boxes of sure-jel. Be sure that we're using sure-jel, not clear gel, because sure-jel is made for jelly. We're going to need 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice. Watermelon has no pH in it, now no acidity whatsoever to it, so we got to put the lemon juice in to raise the acidity up to make it safe to set in the jars on the shelf. It will have no effect on the taste of the jelly. And blow your mind now, we got 6 3/4 cups of sugar. And what we're going to do first, sure-jel will sort of clump up on you, if you just put it straight into your juice there. So what we're going to do, I got about 3/4 of a cup of my sugar in this bowl, and I'm just going to add my sure-jel in here. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to whisk it around a little bit with that sugar, sort of mix it up with that sugar some. And what that'll do, that'll keep it from clumping up whenever I put it into the my watermelon juice. Because if you don't, you can do it without mixing it with any sugar, but you got to really work with it and stay on top of it for a little while there to keep it from clumping up if you do. And by doing it this way, it don't clump as bad. It'll sort of, just mix in, and you won't have that problem of it clumping up. So we're just going to mix that up, and we'll meet you over at the stove and show you the rest of the process. Okay, we're over at the stove now. What we're going to do, the first thing is we're just going to put our 6 cups of watermelon juice into the pot. That's 4 cups, and there's 2 more. That's 6 cups of watermelon juice. And what we're going to do, we need 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice. So we're going to add this is a 1/4 cup measuring cup. So we're going to add 3/4 of a cup. There's 1, 2, and 3. 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice. And we're going to take our 3/4 cup of sugar and our 3 boxes of sure-jel, and we're just going to stir it in as we add it. So that, keep it mixed up. We don't want the sugar and sure-jel to lump up on the bottom, so we're just going to keep it stirring. That way it won't lump up on us. And we're going to turn the burner just about to high. And we're going to bring this to a full rolling ball. And we're going to let it boil for 1 minute, but we'll bring you back when we get right to that full rolling ball. Okay, we had a rolling ball. Now you can see I can stir it, and when we stop, I'm hoping you can see it through the steam. It just continues to boil. So what we're going to do, we're going to reach over here and we're going to set us a timer for 1 minute. And we're just going to stir this constantly during that minute. And what this does, this helps to activate that sure-jel so that it'll gel. Yeah, now you can see I got my counter setting over here on the burner. I got my jars in it. They're hot. I just took them out of the dishwasher just a few minutes before we got going. Matter of fact, you may have heard the dishwasher running when we first started. But they're clean. They're hot. Whenever we get done, this is going to be a hot product. We're going to go into a hot jar and want it in a hot canner. So we just want to continually stir this. We still hadn't touched the burner. We still got it set on, well, it's between medium and high. I mean, between medium, high, and high. And there's our timer going off. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take the rest of our sugar. We had the 6 3/4 cup sugar. We're going to take the rest of that sugar and we're just going to dump it in. And we're going to stir this constantly. And you can see that stops our boil. But what we're going to do, we're going to stir this now and get all of our sugar dissolved because we don't want the sugar to burn. And whenever we get all of our sugar dissolved and it comes back to a rolling boil, we'll bring it back at that point. Okay, you can see now we're back up to a rolling boil. This is a boil that continues to boil. It can't be stirred down. So we're going to set our timer again for 1 minute. And we're going to constantly stir this for 1 minute. And like I said, we're really just activating our sure-jel, getting our jelly where it'll gel once it cools down. It's very important that you bring this to a rolling boil each time in order for your sure-jel to work. Because if you don't, if you don't bring it to a rolling boil the first time and let it boil for a minute, and you don't bring it to a rolling boil after you add the sugar and let it boil for a minute, then it's not going to gel on you. Like I said, watermelon's hard to get to gel anyway, so you really have to be cautious about how you do it, because it's mostly water and it's hard to get water to gel. But if you do it like I'm showing you here, then you won't have any problem getting it to gel. And so we just about, our timer's fixing to go off there. There goes our timer right there. So now what we're going to do, we're going to cut that off, and we're just going to reach over and we're going to turn the burner off, and we're going to stir this for just a minute and let it settle down just a little bit, and then we'll take you over there and we're going to jar it up. Okay, we moved our pot over to our island here, and what we want to do, we want to just sort of stir it around a little bit. We're going to dip us a scoopful out, and we're doing this in half-pint jars, what they call jelly jars. A lot of people call them jelly jars. We're going to go to about 1/4 of an inch headspace. So I'm going to do just a little bit about right there. Should be good. And we're not going to debubble because this is all liquid. There's nothing in there to catch air. But we are going to dip us a paper towel in white vinegar here. And we're going to wipe our rims good. Rim of our jar good. Because that jelly's sticky. And then we're going to take our little lid lifter. Center us a lid on there. Take a band. Them jars are hot. And we're going to just tighten down fingertip tight. And we're going to go back in the canner with it. We're going to move this one over in that one spot. And we'll put it in the canner, and then we're going to bring another jar over. We'll get us another jar out. Set it over here. We're Waterbath canning today. So, as you know, the water has to be at 1 to 2 inches above the top of the jars in a Waterbath canner. And we're going to fill this jar up. We're moving sort of quick because we don't want our jelly to start gelling on us before we get all of it in the jars. We're going to do that. You can see how it's starting to gel there on the thing already. It'll gel quick once it cools off. It'll gel quick. So, you know, this part here, you really need to continually move on this. And again, we're going to wipe our things. If you want to, I use my thing, but you can see we're at about 1/4 to 1/2 inch headspace. Wipe your rims. Like I said, this we're not debubbling because it's all liquid. So there's nothing there to catch air pockets, so we don't need to debubble. You can if you want to. I don't. Put a center our lid. Band fingertip tight. Back in the canner. And then we're going to grab us another jar. Move this one over in that place. Set that right there. And we're going to continue to fill all of our jars, and then we'll be back when we get them all in the canner. Okay, as you can see, we had just a little bit. We got 11 half pints, and this little bit here, we're just going to leave that the gel. We'll put it in the refrigerator and eat it first. But you can tell when your jelly's going to make, because you can see in the thing here, I'm hoping you can see in there how it's gelled on there. And you can see how it's gelled on the ladle there, all in there. See that turning to jelly there? When you get that, you know your jelly's gonna gel like it's supposed to. And we're gonna take the rest of this cup of vinegar and this little piece of, probably less than about 2 tablespoons of vinegar that we was using to wipe our jar lids with. We're gonna take them over here and we're just gonna pour it in our canner. Now we do this with both pressure canning and water bath canning. And that'll keep your jars from having that cloudy look on them. We're going to put the lid on. We're going to turn it up between medium and high. We're going to bring this up to a full rolling boil, and we'll bring you back at that point. Okay, we're at a full rolling boil. You can peek under there and see. That's what we call a full rolling boil. We're going to turn the burner down just a little bit here, and we want to keep that full rolling boil going. We're going to can this for 15 minutes by my altitude. Now, your altitude could change. It could be 10 minutes. It could be 20 minutes. But 15 minutes by my altitude, and we'll bring you back whenever that 15 minutes is up. Okay, our timer's fixing to go off on the canner back here. We're going to be taking our jars out. What we want to do, we've canned them. Now, we've kept that rolling boil going. There goes our timer. We've kept that rolling boil going throughout the whole process. We're just going to cut our burner off. And I can on a glass top stove, so I'm going to move mine over off of that hot burner so that it can settle down some. You can see how it's almost starts settling down immediately. And we're going to take these bad boys out now. Unlike pressure canning, you don't have to wait for any pressure to drop or anything like that when you're water bath canning. As soon as your timer goes off, you can go ahead and take your jars out, and without waiting. I just like to move it off that burner and let the water settle down a little bit so I don't get it splashed all over me. And you can see how pretty that looks. And here, that pop, that's them sealing already. So whenever they seal like that, hear that? That's the jar sealing. That's what you want to hear, because when you hear that, you know that your jars are sealing and they're going to be shelf stable. In other words, we'll be able to put them on the shelf. They won't last 18 months or 2 years, but if in your case 18 months they were still some of it left, as long as that seal was still good, then you would be okay, you know, to go ahead and eat it. Now what I'll do here is tomorrow morning, they'll sit here 12 to 24 hours. Tomorrow morning I get up, I'll take in the rings off of them, and I'll check to be sure that, you know, they're all sealed good. And I'll wash them down with soapy water, in a rag with soapy water on it, rinse them off good. And then I'll put a label on them, you know, label them watermelon jelly to today's date. And then I'll put them in my pantry. And that's where they'll be, you know, until we eat them. Which, like I said, it won't last long, because around here watermelon jelly goes pretty quick. But anyway, when you pick them up out of your water, you want to bring them straight up. You don't want to tilt them over. There's water. You see the water on top of the jars there. And these are half-pint jars. You want to bring your jars straight up instead of, you know, don't tilt them to pour water off. That water will evaporate off of them. And you can hear them sealing there. And there it is. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 jars of watermelon jelly. And I thought we had 11, but apparently we got 10. I may have misspoke a while ago when I said 11 in a piece of one. It must have been 10 in a piece of one. But anyway, 10 jars of watermelon jelly. If you do this recipe, please, I encourage you, follow this step by step to ensure that your jelly gels like it's supposed to. Because, like I said, watermelon jelly is one of the hardest jellies there are to get to gel. But we appreciate you watching the video. If you would, give the video a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate all of you that do, and we appreciate all of you to take time out of your day to watch our videos. We'll be back. See you on the next one.